A national championship is on the line. The 7-time champ Walker Fowler squares off against the hungry Magna One Motorsports Yamaha of Bryson Neal, whose name goes down in the history books as the champ. Battle starts now on MAV TV.
Are you ready to go? GNCC Racing!
Well, hello and welcome to round number 13 of the 2022 Grand National Cross Country Racing Series, presented by Specialized, an AMA National Championship. We are here in my hometown, Crawfordsville, Indiana, for this, the Yamaha Racing Ironman GNCC. We reflect back with the Specialized race recap, and as always, our XC1 pros were off in perfect form. Walker Fowler will check up from the neck up as he grabs the hole shot and jumped out front to an early lead. He would be challenged, though. Saw some great riding out of the Coltrane, Cole Richardson, as well as the Sneaky Snake, the Cobra, Jared McClure in there, as well as Hunter Hart in the mix. About a middle-of-the-pack start for Bryson Neal, the Bidwell Bullet, who, hey, he stayed the course. He would chip away at this one and eventually get up there in the fight with one of the best battles we've seen for a race lead, which we will have in a moment. But nonetheless, you got to hand it to Walker Fowler. He tried to run away and hide, as he has done so many times in the past. Second all times on the wins list. But today, Bryson Neal was just determined. He was sitting back in the 3 spot, eventually would move into the second place position, and that's when we went to work. Walker Fowler, again, still leading at this point. It was a 4-way battle. At times you could throw a blanket over the top 4. But how about this? Arguably one of the best passes we've seen in GNCC history, if not in a very long time. And the reason being, what was at stake? I mean, if it's a win for Walker, he's going to be your favorite to win at Ironman. If it was a pass and a win for Bryson Neal, as it was, he's in the driver's seat as we head into Ironman here today. But nonetheless, incredible riding by both. We caught up with the Bidwell Bullet after the race.
Going from back to 5th place right before the pit, we was ripping good. This bike, the CST tires, Hauser A-arms, that Moto Experts engine, tuned by Pat Kidwell, everything was just on rails. I felt so dang good today. I love this track. I love the flow. I was feeling myself. I could tell I was riding really, really good. I was riding an edge that I don't think anyone else was wanting to ride. But went for Walker. I went for a little pass on the inside, and I got sideways, and I got shuffled back. Then I went to pass Cole, and a line that I tried to take the lap before that I actually made a pass on Glauda, a log got kicked, and it caught my A-arm, and it flipped me. And right before the pit, I went back to 5th place, and I was like, oh my gosh. I just saw my whole race, my championship, if I could make it back through the pack. It was real tight racing. There was, I made the passes. I made them work. I made them stick, but my goodness, it was really hard to pass today. And this last lap was insane. To pass Hunter, to pass Walker out there in the field, it was a hell of a battle. There ain't nothing like GNCC racing like that today. This is a true Blue Woods race. Hopefully this is an awesome race for the fans. I hope everyone enjoyed it. And we're looking forward to Ironman to keep this thing rolling.
Well, taking a look at the top 10 from the last race, of course, Bryson Neal taking that win. Walker Fowler finishing in the 2 spot. At the Coltrane, Cole Richardson rounding out the top 3. We fast forward to today. A championship is on the line. Walker Fowler, well, really, he needs to win, and he has to hope Bryson Neal, if math is correct here, finishes outside of, I believe, the top 4. Walker Fowler with a strong start grabs that All Balls Racing Hole Shot Award, and Fowler is doing exactly what he needs to do to put him in position to win another national championship, but it's early. We got 2 hours of racing. Hunter Hart in the 2 spot, and boy, a middle of the pack, call it back into the pack. Start for the 241. Magna 1 Motorsports Yamaha of Bryson Neal. Not used to seeing him. He's not always had the best starts, but toward the back, not a good place to be. Hart leads. Fowler in the 2 spot. Keep our eyes open for Bryson Neal. Again, needs a 4th or better if, boy, I think he's back at about 7th or 8th. Kind of lost track right there in the dust, but nonetheless, not a good start for Bryson Neal. He has got to go to work. We take it back down to the starting line. B&R Motorsports Whole Shot Award up for grabs in the XC2 Pro-Am class. A lot of heavy hitters out there. Nice checkup from the neck up. Says, hey, how you doing? I'm going to get this whole shot. Of course, we have the absence of Wyatt Wilkin. We have the absence of the XC2 champion from this year, Jay Shadron. Both riders deciding to jump up and battle with the big boys in row number 1, making their pro class debut here for 2022. But nonetheless opens up the opportunity in the XC2 class. It is stacked. There's no doubt about that. Guys like Stephen Harrell, Brandon Owens. Now, Brandon Owens has a win this year. Tanner Walker, Grayson Eller, huge names in the XC2 class here with an opportunity to make something happen here today and pick up either their first win or, if you're Brandon Owens, your second win of the season. But nonetheless, big things. Back out front with the XC1, and it is Hunter Hart out in front, leading the way, kicking the dust up in Indiana. If you didn't know, we've got hills in Indiana, I promise. They're all located on the Shaver family farm property. Walker Fowler in the 2 spot. We got some hills down in southern Indiana, but they are few and far between, but by God, GNCC found them, no doubt about that. Keeping our eyes out again for Bryson Neal. Again, needs a 4th place or better finish. Let's see. Haven't spotted that bright yellow helmet. Unless I missed it somewhere, that might be it. That's it right there. Hard to distinguish who's who out there between the dust and the mud. It's basically relying on riding style at this point. But nonetheless, Walker Fowler, again, doing what he needs to do. Now, I will say, looks like Bryson Neal's picked up a couple of positions. Not very many, not enough. But no reason for him to hit the panic button. I don't think that's going to happen. Walker Fowler grabs a whole shot. He's got the lead. Who wants the championship more, Neal or Fowler? We'll be right back.
Coverage of the Grand National Cross Country Championship on MAV TV is brought to you in part by Specialized E-Turbo Bikes. It's you, only faster. And by RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
And welcome back to Grand National Cross Country here on MAV TV. You're watching the Ironman, the Yamaha Racing Ironman GNCC here. The season finale, a championship is on the line, and leader, Hunter Hart out in front in this one in what is a bit of a dusty race in some of these sections. Walker Fowler sits in the 2 spot. Walker Fowler, now the situation basically, Walker Fowler really be great if he can grab the win. Right now sits in the 2 spot. Still early. Hunter Hart's doing a good job out front. He's trying to be the guy that plays spoiler here today. But with the championship on the line, look at the checkup from the neck up. Hunter Hart said, I want to see where you are at, Walker Fowler. And there is Fowler right there. Gets his Yamaha squared up. And no problems for Walker Fowler right there. Again, boy, good ride by Hunter Hart. This is what, let's talk about Hunter Hart for a second. We've wanted to see this all season from him. And even if you ask Hunter Hart, he would tell you he feels like he should be in there battling for those wins with Bryson Neal and Walker Fowler. It's just not really come to fruition this season. So maybe today is the day he can end it on a high note. I cannot help but think, to go back a couple of years at least, this is the location Hunter Hart actually picked up his first overall win, was here at Ironman. And it was a mutter. It was rainy, as it's a 1-2 battle right now between Hart and Fowler. It was rainy, it was muddy. As a matter of fact, it was so rainy and muddy that Walker Fowler comes off the track. The goggles are off. The eyes are filled with mud and dirt. And I went up to him and I said, Hunter, you won. And he said, you've got to be kidding me. He had no idea. He was just trying to finish the thing. and he came away with a win. So there's no place like home, right? We'll see if he can make it happen. And, hey, just as I say that, there is Walker Fowler, your new leader here at the Ironman GNCC. So a little mistake by Hunter Hart. Cost him one position, cost him a little bit of time. Now it's not a huge gap, but nonetheless a gap, or at least it was, as Walker Fowler is trying to do what he is most known for, and that is run away and hide. Get out front, put some time, and put some lapped riders in between you and the rest of the pack. There is the Gator, Adam McGill. McGill having a great ride here today, sits in the 3 spot on that Honda. Can't miss him. And that would be the man on the move, the 241 of Bryson Neal, now up into the number 4 position after a dismal start. John Glada behind him, the 712. But as it stands right now, folks, we would be tied as far as the points championship is concerned. Now, what does that mean? Does it go to the person who's won the latest race? No, first and foremost, it goes to the guy with the most wins. So in the event of a tie, as far as the point standings go, Bryson Neal would be your champion as it stands on the track right now. Still a lot of racing yet to get through, but Walker Fowler's doing what he can do. He's doing everything within his power here in the last round to try and capture another national title. He cannot worry about what's going on behind him. That is that man's problem to bear. Bryson Neal sits, I believe, might be in the 3 spot now, unless we missed Adam McGill. No, there is McGill going what turns out to be the long way around. Got into some of that loamy dirt and cost him a little time, but doesn't cost him a position. Walker Fowler, leader, out in front. Got the pink helmet. Might note, too, good thing to mention, the Ironman GNCC always plays host to our breast cancer awareness race. We loosen up the restrictions on what colors riders can run as far as number plates are concerned. And always catch a lot of pink plates out there. Very cool to see. And they raise a lot of money that stays right there in the local community, supporting women who have gone through or are undergoing breast cancer treatment. Very cool. I think it would be important to mention that. Here we go into the BP Racing Fuels Pro Row, and a pit stop there for Walker Fowler as he's going to get a splash of fuel from his mechanic, Mark Notman. Gets refreshed, gets himself a drink, and as we exited the pits there, we saw Bryson Neal's pits, the Magna One Motorsports guys, laying in wait. And very interesting, the pro pits here for the Ironman, a little different than what we're used to seeing. And okay, now this is going to be an issue. This is technically outside of the pro pits. If they were to pit, they had to enter the pits at the start. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Bryson Neal. I mean, it's sort of a technicality, but you know, it is what it is. So, boy, if it comes into play, you don't want a championship to come down to a situation like that. But you got to be cognizant of your surroundings. Let's just hope it doesn't come into play. Let's hope it doesn't become a thing. How tight is this section? Very little room for error right there. We'll focus on the pit stop a little later. We'll see if we can get some information on that and how it works out. Bottom line is, if Bryson can get up into a 3, a 2, or a 1 spot, and let's say is penalized a position, I believe that would be the ruling. It really wouldn't even be a factor. So let's hope for his sake that's exactly what happens. We'll have to wait and see. Neal in 3rd. So, okay, here you go. There's that scenario. Let's play it out like that. Walker Fowler's leading it. He's in 1st. Bryson Neal physically 3rd on the track. If he gets penalized a position, he drops to a 4 spot. That's still enough for the title. Technicality nonetheless. Let's focus on the racing. Walker Fowler out in front. Finally found some mud at Ironman. And here we go into oh my goodness gracious, into the lap traffic. Not even phased. How's that? You can separate the men from the boys right here as Walker Fowler comes right up on the rear grab bar of some lap traffic. Oh, look at this. Okay, he's through. Thought we were going to hit a little panic button situation for B. Neal as he gets the thumbs up and he heads up the hill. But GNCC, more than just racing, live concert last night for the fans on the Monster Energy stage. Very cool stuff at the Ironman GNCC. I always say it's kind of a who's who of the industry. The fans were out in full force. And the grandmas. Keep in mind, this happens during Halloween. Love it. We'll be right back with more after this.
Coverage of the Grand National Cross Country Championship on MAV TV is brought to you in part by Specialized E-Turbo Bikes. It's you, only faster. And by Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com. Get ready.
And welcome back to GNCC here on MAV TV. Watching our leader, Walker Fowler, out in front, trying to capture what would be his 8th national championship. He sits second all-time on the wins list. It's 73, just 2 wins behind the legendary Chris Borich. Hunter Hart has had a fantastic race. He's been able to lead early in this one, has settled into that number 2 spot, and the man on the hunt is Bryson Neal. And to get some clarification, Bryson Neal did not pit correctly. The penalty will be a 1-position penalty. So as it stands right now, it's pretty simple. Bryson Neal physically needs a 3rd place or better to capture the national title, and that'll do it. We'll leave it at that. And right now he's in good shape, and we'll see what happens when the checkered flag flies. Here comes Walker Fowler, a wave to the fans as he's going to capture the win. But will it be enough for the national championship? And you can tell by the body language of the fans, they don't know either. They know this much. Walker Fowler's in for the win, but is it enough for the title? I don't think it's going to be enough for the title. Hunter Hart's going to come in, and there's Bryson Neal. So Bryson Neal will come in the number 3 spot, and that's enough. Forget the penalty. It doesn't matter. Bryson Neal is your national champion. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is as good as it gets right there. Congratulations to the Magna 1 Yamaha of Bryson Neal. It is a celebration all around. Now you can celebrate. Now you can breathe a sigh of relief. Congrats to the champion.
It's just, you got to be committed. You know, when everyone was racing a snowshoe, I was starting my journey and working on this year. And it took me the entire second half of the year, all the way up until December, until I got cleared to ride. You know, it's a lot of work, so many hours of stretching, so many pointless, just silly exercises. And just, I'm used to going 100 miles an hour, and to work at only a quarter, half speed, all that, all the levels. Ben Greenwood, off-road performance coach, he had my back this whole time. He put me in the right direction, took care of me, and got me back ready to compete. And then I didn't know where we was going to be when we came out the first race this year. You know, I didn't ride with none of these guys all winter, and we came out, and to grab the first win, that was huge. And man, we clicked off 8 wins this year, and looking back, you know, it's crazy how much time flies, and it's such a long road to get here. It's such a long grind. It's a long year, so many races, so many avenues, so many tracks, so many different things that can happen and are thrown at you in GNCC racing, and to tackle them all and come out on top, you know, it's just, we worked at this since we was a child, you know, my dad and me, and I'm just so pumped that we finally got this done, and we captured this XC1 title.
Now there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Got that number 1 on the front of the chest, that Moose Racing jersey. It's a good day to be Bryson Neal. Walker Fowler settles in second as far as the championship is concerned.
I'll say this, and I don't know if I can back it up because obviously it's really hard to do it, but the day that I beat Chris Borich in 2015, he said, I'll let him borrow it for a year. But I will say that the Bryson Neal team, that Magna 1 Motorsports team, they're tough. You know, obviously, as dominant as they were this year, I'm going to have to find something special next year. You know, obviously, everyone want to know if I'm retiring. I think I'm not. Already got the bikes, already building them, already contracted to race next year. and try to be the first guy to win a championship after you get beat or dethroned in 35 years. So that's my new goal. But yeah, I told myself, I prepared myself for this, whether I would win or whether I would lose. And, I had 8 other races to make a difference, and I fell short. So, to blame it on one day or one race, I can't do that. I had eight races where I could have done something different, and, I got to live with that. So hats off to that Magna One Motorsports team. Mr. Bryson Neal, congratulations on your championship. They've conducted themselves very well the last couple races. Obviously, in the beginning of the year, I think we were both kind of, fluffing feathers and, bumping chests a little bit to see who was going to be king. And, it kind of became apparent there in the middle of the season who really wanted it and who was struggling. So, like I said, just go home, regroup, get healthy, have some fun. I'm really excited to go race that works race out west and duke it out with motocross guys, flat track guys, works guys, and, maybe start enjoying the finer things. I turn 30 next week, so just taking it in. The fans are still awesome. They still came over, congratulated us, and you know what? At the end of the day, that's what matters.
There's Hunter Hart, who took 3rd here today, making sure that guy looks right with the gold chain, whoever that guy might be.
Heck of a day, Bryson caught me on the last lap and he really didn't push the issue, which was kind of nice. He was just content to be there, and congrats to him. And the last 4 showed what we truly know how to do and what we can do and what we're going to work on this winter.
Well, big congratulations, Hunter Hart, taking the 2nd place finish. Adam McGill actually going to end up 3rd on the day after the penalty assessed to Bryson Neal.
Yeah, that is correct, man. I mean, it's been a long time since we've been up here on the box, and I come through expecting a 4th place finish, and I come through, and Carrie Jo stopped me, and she said, "Hey, do you get 4th?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, you're 3rd," and I'm like, "Man, quit messing with me, man." Yeah. No, dude, I hate doing it like this, but dude, it feels so good to be up here. I don't think I'm going to argue it, man. I'm going to take it, and I'm going to go back to West Virginia. I'm going to take me a nap with some puppies.
Well, a wild day, a wild finish to the season here in 2022. We'll take a look at the Specialized race recap. Off and rolling was the number 1, feeling himself right there in the pink helmet. Walker Fowler grabbing that whole shot in that early lead. Hunter Hart, man, I got to hand it to him. He wanted this one. He was in the fight. Adam McGill in the fight as well, sitting in the 3 spot. Best finish all season long for Adam McGill, putting it on the box. Great day for him. Hunter Hart enjoyed that lead early in this one. The number 2 looked like he was going to take a win here. I'm not going to lie to you. I really thought this might have been Hunter Hart's day playing spoiler. He wanted us to get the abacus out and try to figure out the point standings as far as the title are concerned. But as the day wore on, it was that man right there, the number 1, Walker Fowler, picking up his, I believe, 73rd win officially here today. And it was a win for Walker Fowler, but the man who went to work was Bryson Neal. Not the best start for Neal. Had to work his way up through the pack. See some great riding there by Walker Fowler, by the way. But Bryson Neal, again, he went to work in this one and continued to push himself into position as Walker Fowler will see come in here for the checkered flag. And I got to think the hand in the air was a won, feel good about it, and thank you to the fans. It's been amazing. He's not done yet. He ain't going anywhere. Walker Fowler will be back to battle with us in 2023. But this man right here, Bryson Neal, beside himself, the 241 Magna One Motorsports is your 2022 national champion. On behalf of Racer TV, on behalf of GNCC, I want to thank you guys for watching all season long. I'm Mikey Waynes. We'll see you at the races.